Hello, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, and welcome to the channel. Unleash the ancient forces where steel dances with mystic arts. Behold the clash of legends as Blade and Sorcery, the seasoned veteran, faces battle talent, the new kid on the block. Will the established dominion prevail, or shall the rising star dethrone the master? Brace yourselves for an epic battle that will rage on for years to come as destiny weaves its tapestry on the blood-stained battlegrounds. Witness the birth of a new era where tradition meets innovation and legends collide in a battle for ultimate supremacy. Okay, so in this video we will be talking about two games that are similar, Blade and Sorcery, and then the new kid on the block, Battle Talent. These are two combat style games that have realistic physics. You battle with swords, shields, hammers, axes, and bow and arrows. Both games have procedural levels, which means the levels are never the same, similar to how the game Diablo works. Blade and Sorcery only has one dungeon level that has the procedural levels, but still it counts. Both games are $19.99. Both games are available on the Quest platform and PCVR. Blade and Sorcery is available on the Pico 4, but Battle Talent is not. But in this battle, that will not matter. If you have a Pico 4, then just buy Blade and Sorcery. Or if you can wait to see if Battle Talent comes out on P4, then you can also do that. Maybe by then, you'll have a clearer picture of who is the actual winner. Joking aside, I think whichever game comes out with multiplayer first will be declared the winner by me. Just kidding, of course. I know it's a tough task to add a multiplayer feature to these types of combat games. Although I did hear somewhere that Battle Talent was going to add a multiplayer feature to their game. This was a while back. This was around the time when mods were being supported on the Quest version of the game, and I haven't seen anything on it. I haven't seen anything written in stone. It's not on their roadmap, it's not on their Discord. I haven't seen anything on it. So if they are actually planning on releasing a multiplayer feature to the game, it may be a long time away, or maybe they just want to keep it a secret and bring it out at the right time. Who knows? Just a theory. We don't know for sure if this is a true fact or not. On the other hand, Blade and Sorcery does have a multiplayer mod, but it's kind of hard to use. All parties have to have the same mods installed, the same equipment. Well, in general, they have to have the same files, and it looks very hard to set up. I've seen videos on it, and even the YouTubers that covered it said it was extremely hard to set up a multiplayer game with another player. I have not tried it, so it's out there if you want to try it with a friend. So obviously, I'm not going to cover multiplayer or game availability, so I'm just going to go over both games and compare them by the following categories. Number 1, graphics. Number 2, gameplay. Number 3, game physics. Number 4, mods. So we're going to start with graphic. Both games came out punching in the graphics department. It's hard to pick out a winner here because both games went with different styles. I think Blade and Sorcery has better textures and better quality 3D models. For some reason, however, for me, Battle Talent looks and feels more realistic. It might be because Blade and Sorcery looks and feels like it's brighter and more colorful, and Battle Talent went with the dark, foggy approach, which fits it well with the overall theme that they're going with. I like the fog effect that Battle Talent has. It kind of adds to the immersion of being in a dungeon, but also the NPCs look more realistic and the levels look better in Blade and Sorcery. So apart from the different approach both games took, graphics will go to Blade and Sorcery, but it was a close race. Well, relatively speaking, in terms of detail, Blade and Sorcery wins by a long shot. Game physics is probably why most people bought these games in the first place. This one was kind of hard to tell which game was the winner. The physics feel similar on both games, but Battle Talent is less wankier. Players don't get stuck between walls or start wigging out. It does happen in Battle Talent, but I've only seen it once or twice since I bought the game. With Blade and Sorcery, it happens at least once every time I play. With the latest version of Blade and Sorcery, it doesn't happen as often though, so that's pretty good. They're doing a good job there. They're fixing it little by little. The physics feel a bit more polished in Battle Talent, but Blade and Sorcery I feel has the better physics overall. Ragdoll animations look a lot better in Blade and Sorcery. The enemies have more animations, like when they die or when they're defending. Plus, if you have full body tracking, you can kick people in Blade and Sorcery, and I heard that's a lot of fun. If you're into dismemberment, like cutting off heads or a hand or two, then Blade and Sorcery wins in that department. Dismemberment happens in Battle Talent, just not a lot. In Blade and Sorcery, you can also sneak up on people. So for physics, battle mechanics, and all that stuff, Blade and Sorcery wins, hands down. So gameplay, this is where both games drift apart. So if I were just talking sandbox mode, then Blade and Sorcery wins this battle, hands down. But we're not just talking about sandbox mode, we're talking about the whole overall gameplay experience. So to start, there's more to do in Battle Talent than there is in Blade and Sorcery. There's more levels to go through, you face mini bosses, regular bosses, you have to unlock weapons, they have more enemies to battle as you go along in your journey. Campaigns are very simple, just go out there and kill anyone you see. But then you also have parkour levels along the way, which are extremely hard. I suck at parkour. I don't know if I said that right. Parkour or Parker, I don't know. In Blade and Sorcery, they have one dungeon level, which is a cool level. Not gonna lie, I did like it. It changes every time, so I guess it kind of feels like it's brand new every time, but pretty much the same environment. And maybe after the third or fourth time, I just stopped playing it. They need more single player campaigns. The weapon mechanics feel a lot better in Blade and Sorcery. Some of the two-handed weapons, the two-handed weapon swing felt way too slow in Battle Talent when picking up objects such as bricks. Like if you pick up a brick and you attempt to throw it, it doesn't travel too far. Even though it's heavy, it still feels like it's a ton. It just feels weird. With sword fighting, both games are good. It's hard to choose a side here. With bow and arrow mechanics, Battle Talent has a more realistic feel to it. In Blade and Sorcery, you need to reach back and grab an arrow from your quiver, which is more realistic, I understand. But everything else feels better in Battle Talent, especially the impact when an enemy gets struck by an arrow. Blade and Sorcery just feels like you're shooting a thin stick at enemies. With spells and magic, Blade and Sorcery wins. They have more to work with, and with how they handle the spell system, it's just a lot better. Climbing is a bit janky on both games, so that's a tie there. Using your fist as weapons feels odd on both games as well. No clear winner there. The weapons in Battle Talent have durability, so you have to put them away for a bit so they can repair themselves. Blade and Sorcery does not. To some, that might be a plus, and to others, that might not be a plus. The enemy's AI on both games feels good, a little on the basic side from both parties. They just see you, then leap into battle mode. Blade and Sorcery has a better AI system, I believe. The enemies in Blade and Sorcery defend a little better, and it's a little harder to get a hit on them at times. They have more attack animations as well. So gameplay goes to Battle Talent, simply because there's a lot more to do here, and that can go a long way. Blade and Sorcery has a better sandbox mode, but it was not enough to take this category. For mods, Blade and Sorcery wins this battle, for sure. Battle Talent has been around less time, so that can change in a year or so, but yeah, maybe not. Adding mods is simple for both games. Blade and Sorcery has been around longer, obviously, and the mod community there is a lot stronger and larger in numbers. Battle Talent is trailing in this department. but feels like mods are coming out at a quicker pace. At least on the PC side, it seems that way. But yeah, Blade and Sorcery has been around for a while, so they have a head start here. Battle Talent got released on June 1st, just recently. However, it's been around in early access beta for a while. First through SideQuest, then App Lab, and then Steam. Both games have custom weapons, NPCs, and maps. But with Blade and Sorcery, there are physics mods, animation mods, dismemberment mods, and extra blood mods for the sickles out there who get a kick out of that. It will be hard for Battle Talent to beat them in mods, so maybe in a year or so we'll know more. But yeah, they got a steep mountain to climb. So yeah, obviously Blade and Sorcery wins in the mods department. So to conclude, graphics go to Blade and Sorcery, gameplay goes to Battle Talent, game physics go to Blade and Sorcery, and mods go to Blade and Sorcery. So overall, Blade and Sorcery is the better game, at least for me. Some people might feel different, but yeah, Blade and Sorcery is still the best, but obviously, that can change. So honestly speaking, I think it really depends on the person. If you just want to jump in and start wreaking havoc with no questions asked, and you want no bullshit to cut through, then Blade and Sorcery is your game. If you want a game with more variety out of the box, and more to do, and more obstacles to tackle, then Battle Talent is your game. So according to my Steam purchase history, I played Blade and Sorcery the first time on January 24th, 2020. And up to this point, I've played a total of 33.3 hours. The first 3 or 4 times I played the game, I would play anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes, maybe just over 60 minutes. But then after, I would play every now and then, like when a new version of the game came out, or if I stumbled onto like a cool mod to try out. I do remember when Dungeons came out, when the dungeon level came out, I played the game a lot as well. And over the years, the game graphics have improved a lot, so hopefully that also happens with Battle Talent. On the other hand, with Battle Talent, it came out on June 1st of this year, so not too long ago. And I bought and played the game for the first time on June 10th. So not too long ago, like 2 weeks ago from the recording of this video. I already have 12.9 hours of play with Battle Talent. In the long run, once I finish all the single player campaign levels, if I'll ever catch up to those hours, I'll probably just go back to Blade and Sorcery, to be honest. But who knows what will happen in the future. Maybe the makers of Battle Talent will come out with more single player campaigns, maybe as downloadable content, free, or they'll maybe charge. I know Blade and Sorcery is still adding to the game. Obviously, the people over at Battle Talent are still adding stuff to the game as well. And I just found this out as I was recording the video. As far as multiplayer goes, I did read in the FAQs that they did attempt to make a multiplayer co-op type game, but the results were not satisfactory, and they mentioned that they were going to try again after the official release of the game. So possibly they could be working on it as I am recording this. I'm really not sure. That's all I got on that. But yeah, both games, the developers are still creating content for it, which is good. We need a rivalry to develop for both these games. It would be cool to go back to the days when Duke Nukem 3D versus Quake, they would constantly have war of words through message boards or bulletin boards. It's cool that you don't see that anymore. That would be cool. Competition is always good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching this video.
Let's get it.